You're live. I left the camera on autofocus. I may come to regret that if it does too much adjusting, but for some reason, if I try and set it to focus and then switch to manual so it doesn't keep adjusting and readjusting, it doesn't focus as crisply if I leave it auto. The resolution seems better. So anyway, this is Vitoria, 21st of June, 1813. I already ran through Barossa. Now, a couple of reasons why I've chosen these. This is from a neglected Spanish Army expansion scenarios. And it's neglected because I'm not fond of the Spanish guerrilla action rule. However, there are two scenarios in here that don't require the Spanish guerrilla action rule. And I suppose there's some sort of mechanism by which I could house rule away the Spanish guerrilla action rule, but my mind has been devoted to other matters, primarily the core, what I still call Corsican Ogre rules with the latest updated cover. Corsican Ogre rules there. And I've added some designer's notes, and I'm trying so hard to resist the urge to go ahead and turn this fledgling thing into a game in its own right. But that would entail so much effort. The peripheral rudimentary rules would be done easily enough, but the combat system, the unit stats, the scenarios, that might quite literally make me lose my mind. So I'm trying to shrug off the urge to do this. Leave it as such, just a supplementary piggyback add-on rule supplement for commands and colors Napoleonics. So there's that. That seems like it's all I do these days. I bless you guys for sticking with me through this channel. When I get stuck on something, I really get stuck on it. So I guess someday I'll move on to something else, but for now, this is just how it is. So I call this mid-game. There's 9 victory banners that we need. We're both tied at 5. It's strictly unit elimination to acquire victory banners. There's no territorial objectives. Which is kind of odd, but that's how they have it. So very basic. And once again, I'm going to run through how this works for you guys until it's second nature. No. Just consider this more advertising for my system until I figure out what I want to do with it. So here's our chits. We add 5 chits for the British and 4 chits for the French. Why? Because that coincides with the number of command cards that are required for the scenario. There's your chits. Take it up, draw a chit. And we get, is this on camera if I put it there? Yeah. We'll put it right there and go down. So the British go first. Now we have a number of units here. This river is not fordable, so the bridges are required to cross the river. And we still have, looks like 3 cavalry units yet to cross and 1 infantry unit. I've moved 3 units across. 1 was just eliminated. That was the rifles. This one's about to go, and this one's fresh. So there's what's going on there. Also, if you notice a unit that has been scooted up to the front or the top of a hex vertex, that means they're Spanish. If you notice a unit that is pushed back to the bottom or rear of a hex vertex, those be Portuguese. The rest are British. And of course, you're French. I know that because they're blue. We have each side's line of communication set up with the British here on the top left corner, probably off camera, and the French here. If you acquire one of those, that's going to affect your ability to activate units. It's kind of an abstract way to represent strategy via logistics and supply, etc. So we drew the British. Let's go ahead and try and activate him. Closest leader to him is here. Now, if he was in the same hex, it'd be 10 or less. Adjacent, 9 or less. and 2 X's away is 8 or less. So we roll the dice to try to get 8 or less. We got a 7, which is usually what we should get with 2d6. So he is successfully activated. Mark him as used for doing so. Had he failed, he'd still be marked used. He's going to fire here. This is the Spanish line infantry who are going to fire with 4 dice. And they have a severe penalty for moving range fire, which is less than half at 1. pretty strict stuff. So 4 dice it is with our custom shaken die added up in there. We've got 2 6s, which do us nothing, and 2 4s, so that was absolutely nothing. Next, we get the French, who I suppose could fire back 1, 2, or we could fire at this one. I guess it doesn't matter. Well, we'd get a penalty for firing uphill, so we fire here. We won't. So let's try that. But we need to activate. Now the leader's in the same hex, so that's just going to be 10 or less. We rolled an 8, so he's good to go. Go ahead and mark him. Now we have this little marker here. This is an aide de camp, I call it. And we're going to use that. We'll flip it over to the 0 side to show it's been depleted. And we're going to use that to re-roll 1 miss. So we've got, it would be 5. It becomes 4 dice with our shaken die. And we got a hit, not enough to become shaken, a flag, and with 3, which we can re-roll, which is still nothing. So not enough hits to equal our shaken. They're not equal or less than the 5, which is our shaken die, but we did get 2 hits, so we'll mark them with 2 hits. And they have a flag, which they can't ignore because they have support with the foot artillery and the line infantry unit here, so they can stay put. There's that. I'll try and finish this scenario out here on camera. French next. Again. Let's go with the easy choice here. 10, 9, 8 or less. We got a 5, so that works nicely. Maybe it's a waste to throw everything at this unit who only has 1 left, but we need that victory banner. So 4, 5 dice. We need just 1 hit. There it is. So there's another victory banner for the French, which makes 6. Now they have leapfrogged the British, who were in the early stages of the game ahead of the French. But the French came from behind and now surpassed them. What else do we have? I forgot to do this, I think. We've got the French again, and I did finally add that rule where if you pull all of a player's chits consecutively, I've decided you get 1 immediate bonus activation for doing so. So if we pull the next one as a French, we qualify for that. Meanwhile, let's try and pull him up. 10, 9, 8, 7 or less. Sitting back there doesn't do any good. Now we got a 2. Does a 2 mean something? I think it does. 2 means, now he'll move 1 here, but since he rolled a 2, now if he rolled a 12, he would be shaken and spent. But since he rolled a 2, he's not marked as spent, which means he qualifies to be activated again. There's a new rule for you that I've added. 2s and 12s don't occur very often on the 2d6 system, but that's what makes them all the more special when they do pop up. British again, let's go with this, or should we go with this? Let's go with this. This will be 10 or less to activate. Stranger things have happened. He's got it. Mark him used. And that's going to be British in line, so that is 5 dice. The British line are as good as the French light at standing range fire. So quite something. What do we get? 2 hits. Our shaken die is a 1, so that's equal or less than the 2 hits. So there's 2 hits, there's shaken, and there's 2 flags. Now 1 flag can be ignored because they have that leader there. Let's mark the 2 hits before we get too confused. He is shaken, and he's already used, so were he not, he would be marked used for having to retreat, which he will have to do with 2 flags. Remember, the 1 could be ignored because of the leader. Second one cannot. So he retreats, he has 2 hits, and he's shaken. So all of that. What's next? Another chit. This be French. We messed up our consecutive drawing, but that's okay. We need to get some of these peripheral guys in the mix. So 10, 9, 8, 7 here to activate him. 7 or less. Can he do it? He can. Rolls a 7. Brings him 1 step closer to where he wants to be. The rest are British. And so, what do they want to do? That guy's blocked the bridge. Got 2 cavalry units doing nothing. Let's bring him up on the hill. That would be 9 or less to do so. Spanish line, I believe. He rolled an 8, so yes, he can do that. Put him right there. Mark him as used. And British, of course. Let's bring him up. Not very exciting, but we kind of need to do this. 10 and 9 or less. That is your Portuguese. Roll a 7. And he can do so nicely. Mark him as used. He's only going to move 1 hex there. And the final British chit. Let's try and fire here. British line. 10 or less to activate. Rolled a 6. It would be 5, but they have lost a strength point, so now it's 4, and they're firing uphill, so that makes it 3. But if they get 2 hits, that unit's gone. Cock die. All right, there's 1 hit and a flag. So that drops to 3. They cannot ignore that hit, so they will retreat 1 hex. It's fine with me, and I would mark them used, but that's the end of the round anyway. So, end of the round, you put the chips back in the cup, and pull away all these used markers. The shaken markers they stay put. And reset any ADCs that were used. I think we used 1. This one here didn't do us much good, but that's what we need to declare your usage of those before using them. You can't decide to use them after observing the die result. All right. You may also notice some ammo markers here. We have a couple of batteries that have run low on ammunition. The French start this one out and love firing these light infantry, but nobody in range for me to do so. I want to keep them there. We've got a light infantry here. He's taking 1 hit. That's still pretty good, though. If we can throw 4 dice at him, that's just fine. So 10 or less to activate. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, he does. And that'll be 4 dice plus our shaken die. 2 hits and that unit's gone. There's none. No hits. We get 2 flags. 1 can be ignored. 1 cannot because he can't retreat due to a traffic jam. So he'll take that as a hit. That puts him at 3. And lucky for him, because he did not retreat, he's not marked as spent. Should he be? Should he be? Let me note that. If cannot retreat, takes a loss instead. Because again, I have it, if you have to retreat, you're marked as spent for doing so. Now, he would have retreated but couldn't. So something to consider. These little bitty, they're like tiny little pebbles in your shoe. I could keep walking, but it's going to bother me if I don't do something about it. All right. And then French again. I did get a consecutive chit pull of all the British a few rounds ago. What do the British want to do? Let's move him up here. So that'll be 9 or less to activate. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He failed, so he's still marked as spent. See how that works? No, that kills that. There's British. So consecutive run for the French. 10, 9, 8 or less here. He got an 8. And he will fire. That's just going to be 4 dice. That is Spanish line infantry. Let's see what he gets here. There's 1 hit and a flag. Flag can be ignored. Shaken, so that becomes a 2. New chit. There's British again. Let's go. I would say here, but he's only got 1 strength point. It's not very good. Let's try and make him. Let's recover. His in direct command, so he can recover if he passes his activation test. This will be a 9 or less. He's got a 9. And now to recover, he needs a 9 or less with a die roll modifier of plus for each point of damage he's taken. So that would be 2. So now instead of 9 or less, he needs to roll 7 or less. He rolled a 9, so he's still shaking. He is marked as spent, though. So he's just sitting there blocking the bridge. British again. Oh, what to do? For some reason, I just feel like cavalry's not going to be much help. Maybe I shouldn't think that way. And now I've got it where they're so far away from the nearest friendly leader. Let's see, 10, 9, 8, 7. I guess that's not too bad. 10, 9, 8, 7. I don't even know if it's worth trying, though. Here's what I should do. Let's get them out of the way. 10, 9 or less to do so. Fine. And that puts him out of range. He's 1 step away from being eliminated and giving the French a victory banner. So we prevent that, but simultaneously allow this fresh unit to come here at some point and in range, firing range. French again. Let's go here, 9 or less. Militia, infantry, 6. Rolled an 11. Awesome. So he spent. Great job. British again. Let's go here. 10 or less on that guy. 6, 7, 8, 9. That lets us move him up 1. And done. 2 chits left, 1 French, 1 British. British it is. He could do, before we do that, he could conduct moving range fire. Would be British line, 3 strength would be 2. Firing uphill means 1, but result in something it doesn't, so it's a moot point. All right, now next. Let's move this guy up 10, 9 or less, 6, 7. Puts him right here. Mark him as used, and half strength, moving range fire. Do we have anything on that? 1 die. He gets nothing. And finally, our French chit. Let's try and move him up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 10, 9, 8. Let's do this leader, so 8 or less. Roll a 7. I think we want him thusly. All right, so that's the end of that round. Not getting many victory banners here. I need really 7, 8, 9. I need 3 more for the French. Let's see if we can get a victory banner here. That'll be British. Let's go here. 10, 9, 8 or less on him. 4, 5, 6. He's fine. And that'll go 4 dice plus shaken die. We get 1 hit. That's getting closer, but not quite there. French. Wasted light infantry over there. So let's go here. 9 or less. 6, 7, 8. And they will fire 3 dice. Getting 1 hit, so that becomes a 2. And 2 not shaken. He's gonna, can't ignore the initial flag, but once he places himself here-ish, he can. So that's about as far as he'll go. And he will be spent, right? He did that. You guys are letting me slip here. We get French again. Here's what I want to do. Watch this. 10, 9 or less. 3, 4, 5. That puts him right here. And we can conduct melee, which the French are very adept at. That's going to be 4 dice plus shaken die. Give me 2 hits. That would be cool. Thank you. They're all hits. Victory banner number 7. Bye-bye, British line unit. That was very cool. Does he take ground? No, it's optional. He decides not to. All that does is put him within point-blank range of the foot artillery, which cannot fire unless an enemy unit is at point-blank range because he's low on ammo. With 1 die is all he'll get to fire with. He will be marked as used. Now, had they survived that melee attack, they could automatically battle back without rolling unless they were spent. Then that's just the breaks. They were busy doing something else. Thus, the spent marker. All right, French are 2 victory banners away from ending this. What else do we get here? British again. Let's try and unshake the shaking. Roll to activate first, 9 or less. Roll an 8 and 7 or less. He got it. So to recover, that was technically a move. And as they can only move a 1, that's the end of that. But they did recover. Were that a light infantry unit with 2 moves, they could have recovered for 1 move and then moved advanced 1 hex for the second move. But that's good because now by next round we should be able to get them off the bridge, which is what we need to do. We do have another line unit that can come on if they get out of the way. This is the British again. We wanted to move him up, yes, so 10 or less. And we get a 7, so that puts him, this is Spanish line infantry unit right there. Mark him as used. They really take a penalty for moving range fire. And for instance, I think I've already said this, but it's quite severe. Spanish, yeah. So yeah, that's going to be 1 die they can throw. That's it. Pretty crazy stuff. And they got a flag, but that can be ignored. So next shit. French need 2 more banners here. British again, though. Let's move him up. That'll be 9 or less to do so. 7. And we put him right there. Used. And there. Let's do this militia. Nope, because it's not our turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? I just had one of those brain blips again. I don't know what happened. I'm drawing another shit. An episode, we'll call it. A cognitive episode. I literally just lost track of everything I was doing. 10, 9 or less. 5, 6, 7, 8. So which is it? We're going to call it right that. Why did they not move into a new hex? Because they had to change facing. It's a thing. And it's subject to change currently, but that's the way it is right now. And then mark them as used French again. Let's see if he can go 10, 9, 8 or less. He can not. So there's that. We did get a victory banner though this round. Close off. French just need 2 more to end Vitoria. Not Victoria, but Vitoria. I think that's it. Okay, next. Come on, 2 more victory banners here for the French. But the British go first. Well, looks like they're going to catch up here because 10, 9, 8 or less. 6, 7, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 dice. 1 hit, and that light infantry unit's gone. Wow, they missed it. They missed it all. Got a flag, but that can be ignored. So they could have been something, but they messed it up. Now we get the French, and what are we going to do? Move these guys up. 10, 9 or less. That's a 3, so that puts them right here. Moving range fire, maybe, possibly. They are militia. Can they do this thing? Yes, 2 dice. Firing uphill, 1 die. Got nothing. Right. So be it. British again. 10, 9 or less. We get 9 or less. yes, and firing with 4 dice. 1 hit, yeah, they're gone, all right. So now the British are at 6, 1 behind the French. We need to roll to see if there's a leader loss with this. 2 6s, no. I guess I'll leave him there. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7-6 in favor of the French. British again. Let's go here. 10, 9 or less. 5, 6. Let's get that. Marking is used. And it'll be. Is that. And this guy should probably be like that, yes? I don't remember. I'm losing track. Line infantry, but what is he? British, Spanish, or Portuguese? That's going to be 4 dice. Because of the hill, it would be 5, and because of the hill, it drops to, I said 4. Yeah. There are 2 hits, and the shaken die is a 1, so that goes to a 3. And he's shaking and quaking. No retreat, though. So I could conceivably activate him and recover this round, which I shall attempt to do now. French 10, 9 or less to activate him. He's got a 7. And then 9 or less, but we have 3 hits, so it's now 6 or less. Let's use an ADC to make it 7 or less. He's in direct command with this leader, so 7 or less. Roll to 5, so he's good. That's gone. That was 1 move. He's line infantry. He can only move 1, so he's used. But I still feel it may be too little, too late for him. We shall see right now, because I'm going to activate this guy with a 10 or less. And he will fire to try and finish him off. Now that is standing range fire with a strength of 2 is 3. Uphill makes it 2. One of these is a hit. He's gone. He got nothing. He did get a flag, which he'll have to pull back because of, let's put him here. He's already used, so we don't worry about that. Then we go with the French again. 10, 9, 8, so 8 or less there to activate this line unit. Get a 5, so he'll move up 1 right there. British again. Let's get him off the bridge. So 10, 9 or less. Roll a 10. So he, again, I guess he's squatting on the bridge and wants to live there. I can't get him off the bridge. That's interesting. It's hilarious, actually. All right, French. Which causes me to waste this light infantry unit because he's just sitting doing nothing. I guess he could move up. 10, 9, 8 or less. Roll to 6. Right, I'm tired of waiting. So right here. Now, does he have him in line of sight? I say he does. Light infantry. Moving range for fire. That's going to be 3 dice. Plus our shake and die. Give me 2 hits. That would be cool. How about 1 hit? Okay, I'll take it. That's the end of that round. This guy is on his last leg, literally. 2 more victory banners is all the French need. British need 3. British were leading early on. The French have come from behind and passed them up. Chits back in the cup. Pull the used markers. Reset your ADCs. I'll use one again. I should probably use those more than I do. No, unused ADC each round is a wasted ADC. I mean, why would you not use them? I don't know. But here I'm not using them. British. How do we want to work this? Let's start whittling away at the militia, I guess. 10, 9, 8 or less to activate. He rolls a 2, which, if you remember, something cool happens here. He activates and is not marked as spent, so he could be activated again at some point. Good for him, bad for the French. Anyway, the long story short, that's going to be 4 dice and our shaken die. He got 1 hit out of all that. So there's that. Mark him as... No, do not mark him as. He rolled that 2. There you go. The benefit of rolling a 2, he can be activated again. If I get a red shit, immediately. So let's do it again. 8 or less, 10, 9, 8 or less. He's activated again. This time he is spent. And he's going to fire again with 4 dice. And our shaken die, and he gets 2 more hits and a flag. He's not shaken, so that makes 3. The flag can be ignored, although I don't know that is in their best interest to do so. Moving out of range of fire might do him good. Maybe that's another thing to consider, voluntary retreat. Instead of ignoring, bolstering morale and ignoring, I think that should be a thing. Because all he's done is continue to place himself within range of getting knocked out and giving the British a victory banner. So I'll shut up. French. Let's move him up. 10, 9 or less. He's got 10. Cool, that failed. Guess what? If I'd have used an ADC, it would have been activated. Why am I not using them? Shouldn't he be... No, I guess I didn't. All right, let's see what happens here. 10, 9, 8, 7 or less. I felt like I'd already used him this round. It was last round. Roll a 10. Great job. He's gone. I could not use an ADC there because he's not in direct command. There's this 2 hex gap of nothing, so I couldn't use it if I wanted it. Could move the leader closer, I suppose. There's British again. Now here's something to consider. 10, 9 or less. Oh my God, he actually moved off the bridge. What he wants to do at this point is simply place himself out of range, denying a potential victory banner to the French. That's what we do. Once you're down to 1 strength point, you're fairly useless. Need to get that British commander out of there too. How would you do that, you ask? Well, you draw a red shit, which I did not draw. We shall see soon enough. Let's go with... See, all these guys are 1 hit away from victory banners for the British. What am I supposed to do here, honestly? I've got cavalry I'm not using. What's 10, 9, 8 or less? That's a 12. That's awesome. What happens when you roll 12 when you activate, you ask? Funny you should ask. It becomes used and shaken. That's great. That was an awesome roll. 2, good things happen. 12, bad things happen. Thank you, ASL, for teaching me that. British again. How exciting. 10, 9, 8 or less. He rolled an 8. But, well, let's fudge this a bit. I was going to say he can't approach the mouth of the bridge because there's a unit there. Well, let's just say they slipped through the side there and made it onto the bridge. Can we say that? And they are light infantry, so let's say for their second move, that puts them right there and allows them to conduct. It's kind of like an assault, so this would be melee. For British light infantry, we're looking at, really, why are they that good? 5. Seriously? That's what it says. So we got 5 dice coming at. It's light infantry versus light infantry here. 5 dice coming at the French light infantry. Oh, Lord. There's 3 hits. That's not good. Now, the French can't battle back. Why? Because they're spent. Were they not spent, we could roll to activate. And if they pass, they could battle back. But that's how it goes. Don't have to worry about moving the British leader there now because he's attached to that light infantry unit. All right, British again. Let's get them over the bridge. Let's do a thing. 10, 9, 8, 7 or less. How big of a dice tray do you need to keep these from popping out? Roll to 7. Because what I can do, well, it's heavy cavalry, so that doesn't help. 1, 2. What would be cool if it was light cavalry, move further. Hit them in the side and knock out that last strength point there. No. Yes. And last 2 are French, so why am I shaking that up? Who do I have that can... we will also get to see how a charge works. I've added charge rules. No longer is it just melee or melee. You can charge or melee. Light cavalry, 1, 2, 3. Maybe I could do that. I don't typically think defensively, but 9 or less. Rolled an 8. So that would be 1, 2, 3. Now maybe we can countercharge this dude. I don't know. We'll see. It all depends on initiative and who activates first. The unpredictability is a solo player's friend. French, again, we do have, interestingly now, they place themselves an open flank to the foot artillery there. 10, 9, 8 or less to activate. 6, 7. 2 hex range, foot artillery is going to be 3 dice. But we want 3s here. It's all we want. 5s, I guess, would work, but we got nothing. 2 5s. Can heavy cavalry ignore anything here? No. So they have to, this is strange. 1, 2, they have to retreat 2. So there they go. They're already used, so they're not used again. So the artillery saved the light infantry there. Potentially. That's the end of that round. All the French need is 2 more freaking banners. What is the problem here? That. Maybe this will be the last round. I say 2 to 3 more rounds. That'll be it. What else? The shit's back in the cup. The French don't do themselves any favor by hanging back and firing. The British can do that all day long. The French need to, the infantry, that is need to move up and conduct melee. We ready? Potentially the last round, probably not. The French kick it off. I want this guy to activate, and he'll need a 9 or less. Since he's adjacent, he gets a 5. Puts him right here. Moving range fire would be 2. Firing uphill makes it 1, plus our shaken die. Big whoop. Got a flag, and that can be ignored. Guess what I didn't use? A fresh ADC. Wasn't that odd? How unlike me. I forget they exist. All right, British again, and 1, 2, 1, 2. So one's as close as another. Otherwise, you'd have to fire at the closest. But since they're both the same distance, technically, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and probably the British 7th victory banner here. 1 hit, yeah, that's that. So now we're all knotted up at 7 victory banners apiece. And the first 1 to 9 is the winner. Mark him as used. Who's next? British again. 10, 9 or less here. That's a 2. So you know what that means. That means he does not get a used marker. And he can fire with 4 dice at this dude and get no hits. Wow. Cool. Absolutely no hits. We do not mark him as used because he rolled a 2. British again. Oh, let's just activate him again. 10, 9 or less. 7. This time he is used, but the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this time he's got not good. So there's 3 hits that he put on him. The shaken die is a 3, so since that's equal or less, he's also shaken. And he got a flag, but since he's with a leader, he can ignore that flag, but that's bad enough. And you're looking at the British's potential 8th victory banner there. With nobody else, it can not true. I can maybe make something happen here. What do we do? No, there's the 9th victory banner for the British. I need to pay attention. Let's put them in square. 10, 9, 8 or less. Probably gonna fail, eh? 7. Right there. Well, how does this work? They need to roll to activate. If they can put themselves in square. That's a 10 or less. They're just fine. So then everything else is per normal. Commands and colors rules. If he had failed the activation, he wouldn't be in square. He is marked as used because he did a thing. And where he already used or spent, he could not form square. So that being said, he can try and bounce that cavalry. He does not bounce it, but he gets a hit. And then the cavalry get their 1 die back, which is a flag that can be ignored. So they're kind of locked in melee right now. French. I think. Well, we've got to push these guys up, I guess. 10, 9. Let's go here. 10 or less. He's stacked right with him here. 10 or less, he's got a 6. He's going up 1. We'll put him right here. Used. What does that accomplish? I don't know. I don't think it accomplished a darn thing. Not even long term does that accomplish anything. British. Well, he's already used. All right. What can we do? Oh, we wanted to get rid of him. Now, to do this, 10, 9 or less there. We got that. Move him forward. This is light infantry. How about that? Lucky them. 1 hex in battle. So there's your 1 hex. Mark him as used. Moving range fire on British light is still 4 dice. So guess what this means? This means this is going to be the British 8th victory banner unless he does not roll anything, and he does not. Rolled 2 flags. 1 can be ignored, 1 cannot. Puts him back here. How do you miss all that? He will. Will he stay or move? He'll move with him. I don't know how he missed all that. That could have been a victory banner so easy. French again. Running out of things that I would need or want to do with the French. Let's try this. 10, 9, 8 or less. There's a 4. We can put him on the hill. We can fire at him. He's used. Oh, he needs 2 more, guys. 2 more. British again. Similar dilemma for the British. 10 or less down there, way down yonder. He gets a 6, 7, 8, 9. What's in there? Leader move with. What's up, Dungeon Brush? Yep, Peninsular. Napoleon's ulcer. Napoleon's ulcerative colitis, I think, was the official name of the Peninsular battles. 2 more victory banners. That's what we want. That's what we need. And that's what's going to happen this round. British, make it so. Okay, maybe 10, 9, 8 or less. Let's start here. 8 or less. 3, 4, 5. Puts him. Watch this. Right there. What about that? Was that light infantry? Yeah, that's going to be. I think we got our wish. 5 dice, shaken die. Give me a 1 or a 2. Yeah, he's gone. What does that mean? That means that's the British 8th victory banner, 1 away from victory here. Take ground. You can take ground. Not doing it. Stay there. Okay. Next is British again. Here's our 9th victory banner. How? Why, you say? How is this possible? Because we're going to go 10, 9, 8 or less here. And no, we're not, because we rolled a 10. Something wrong with those orders. Write more legibly so they can obey orders. British again. Not giving up. 10, 9 or less there. How about that? Yes, he says. And here's potentially the end of the game. 1, 2. Depending on this roll right here. It's going to be 2 dice. One of these is a hit. It is not over. Got a flag that can be ignored. French hanging on by the hairs of their chin. What about this? you ask? I don't know. What about it? If he moved, would he have anything? So 2 strength, moving range, fire. No, he wouldn't even have anything to throw because he's still got to deduct 1 for the hill. What else can I do? Can these dudes in square fire at the light infantry? Or are they totally focused on the light cavalry? I'm going to say they can. It's going to be 1 die. If that's a 1, a 2, or a 6, it is not. I can hardly believe it. Roll a 4. So there it is. Mark used. French get lucky. No, French, they. No, it's the French. Where's my quick fix? I don't have a quick fix. Activate him. What do I do? Let's activate him and try and pull him back. That'll be 10 or less to do so. That's fine. 6 or less. It'll be 9 or less, but he's taking 3 hits, so now it's 6 or less. Rolled a 7, so he's still shaking. And he can't pull out of firing range, so that's not good. Come on, British, 1 away here. French. Ready for culmination. Ten, 9, 8 or less. Rolled an 8. Puts these guys right where they need to be, and moving range fire shall be 2 dice, shaking die. There's 1 hit and a flag that can be ignored. Well, this is all, I think, too little too late. British again. What do they got that they can possibly do? No idea. Nothing. All I can do is 10 or less here. Got a 6. Move him up. Crawling snail pace. 1 more move and you can fire. The rest are French, eh? Miserable French. You guys aren't fun anymore. Did I not already feed you? Seriously? Well, let's do that. Cat feed break. Not sure I fed you. Sorry about that. It's a good thing you said something. There you go. You need but ask. And you've tripped me up here. Now I forgot what I was doing. Totally forgot. So that would be 1, 2. Something that the French are going to do. Something awesome. I know what I can do. Let's pull them back. So 10, 9, 8, 7 or less. I've got to pull them back. 6, 7. Just got it. Light infantry, 2 moves. We'll pull them out of range of fire and deny the British that easy victory banner. So that's good. That is good. Maybe we can pull this off as the French. 1 left. Probably not. Yeah, the left is collapsed here for the French. The center's not much better. The right is not doing so bad. 10, 9, 8 or less. 7. Let's move them 1, 2. Try and get them somewhere over here. All right, this, I predict, is the last turn. This is the last turn. The last turn. Because there's last turns. But this is the last turn. How do I know this? Let me show you. 10, 9, 8 or less. He gets an 8. Item is used. 4 dice. If one of these is a hit, there it is. That's the end. Let's just roll to see if this commander took a hit as well. There's your British victory. The French 7, the British 9. No. There it is. That's the end of that. All right. Hope you enjoyed that little unannounced impromptu live playthrough of Vitoria, 21st of June, 1813. The British by 2. All right, that's it for tonight.